People of the tube, I missed you! Thanks for bearing with me while I was away on my little hiatus. Soon I'll get a travel video up showing a day in the life of my break. But today we have another game. So the Nobel Prize winners were recently announced, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to ask, who do you have to kill around here to get a Nobel Peace Prize? In this video we're going to take a look at 4 people who won the Nobel Peace Prize, but who might be a little more deserving of a life sentence, writing the names of their victims in their own blood, and entertaining retired circus clowns. I'm not saying this is a good idea, but as bad and inhumane as that idea was, it's probably even worse giving those people the most esteemed Peace Prize on the planet. So let's start with Peace Prize winner who doesn't deserve to be a Peace Prize winner number 1. Cordell Hull was awarded the prize for his part in establishing the United Nations and for fighting isolationism. This basically meant that he was against the United States being too concerned with his own affairs rather than those of other countries and people groups. And to illustrate just how much Cordell Hull cared about those other people groups, while he was Secretary of State, a ship full of Jewish refugees fleeing Hitler made its way into U.S. waters. And when Cordell Hull heard about this, he personally welcomed the ship with a bag full of visas. No. This Secretary of State advised President Roosevelt to send the refugees back to Europe where they came from, threatening to pull out his support from President Roosevelt's next election. Roosevelt listened and turned the ship away. Many of those passengers later died in concentration camps. Another ship with Jewish refugees almost suffered the same fate, except the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, went behind Cordell Hull's back to work with another State Department official and granted the passengers visas. Yeah, Cordell, your hull has sailed and sunk! It's funny because a hull is the body of a ship, and it's not funny. Untried war criminal Nobel Peace Prize winner number 2, which goes to another Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, who was given the prize for helping bring about the Paris Agreement in 1973 to end the Vietnam War. Never mind that the war didn't actually end until 1975, but what's a couple years anyway. Maybe not Nobel Peace Prize material, but how about a big Nobel Peace 5? For effort. Except that Kissinger had Cambodia bombed inside out in order to disrupt North Vietnamese army activity in that country. To do this, he dropped over 2,700,000 tons of bombs on Cambodia. When I compared the landmass of Cambodia to US states, I discovered something mind-blowing and terrifying. Cambodia and the state of Oklahoma have almost exactly the same total area. So to give you an idea of what Kissinger did to Cambodia, take every last conventional bomb the Allies used during the entire Second World War and imagine dumping all of them on the state of Oklahoma. Even so, you would still fall short of the tonnage of bombs that Kissinger used. Civilians killed by this campaign were once estimated to be around 50,000 to 150,000, but Christopher Hitchens and human rights activist Peter Tatchell believe this number could be as high as 600,000. Like the saying goes, with Peace Prize laureates like this, who needs terrorists anyway? Nobel Prize winners 3 and 4 won the prize together in 1994. Yasser Arafat, who fought Israel for an independent Palestinian state, and the Israeli statesman Shimon Peres, who fought Palestinians to make sure that didn't happen. And these 2 people, along with Israel's then current prime minister, were awarded the prize for agreeing on a plan that promoted peace, cooperation, and a slightly less dysfunctional relationship between Israelis and Palestinians. The one and only snag was that one of these recipients was a terrorist. Oh, and there might have been something about one of them being a war criminal. Arafat was a leader of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, which was linked to lots of terrorist attacks, including the massacres of Israeli school children, assassinations of US diplomats, and numerous airliner hijackings. In fact, a Nobel Committee member actually resigned as a result of the decision to give Arafat the prize. Since winning the prize, Shimon Peres has also shown us a few things not to do as a political leader. While he was Prime Minister of Israel, his leadership oversaw the dropping of tens of thousands of cluster bombs on civilian areas. He also used the chemical weapon white phosphorus, which he used as an incendiary weapon. Here you can see the burning chemical raining down fire on civilian sites in Gaza, including this school. Israel argued that white phosphorus is not banned by the Geneva Convention, which is true, unless you're using it on civilian neighborhoods. Oh, and in case you're still on the fence about Peres, he also tried to sell nuclear weapons to South Africa's apartheid regime. If you can still hear my voice over the sound of your head not exploding, you probably missed that last part. He tried to sell nuclear weapons to apartheid. It leads me to ask, what is the difference between terrorists, respected state officials, war criminals, and national heroes? Tragically, a lot of the time, the differences are superficial and nominal. But what some of these people have in common is the fact that they have committed crimes against humanity and are the proud owners of a Nobel Peace Prize. People of the tube, that's it for this week. Come back next time for a video on people who deserve the Nobel Peace Prize but never got one. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me. This has been Ray Vlog, and I'll see you next week.